Hello, everyone. This is Kay. Welcome to the seventh episode of my life journey. We've been on quite a journey together so far, from feeling totally lost in life and from meeting Sar, my life coach, and finding a new direction, and slowly learning to turn my life around, and bringing new changes in my life. I've tried to bring you along as I grow, as I change, and as I commit to this new path that Sari is guiding me on. And this episode, though, is more about leveling up even further and, you know, pushing the boundaries of my mind, my habits, and if we are real, my ego this time. Why? Let me tell you. You know, each lesson that SAR taught me were like a floor of a building. I had to, as I explained, I had to destroy my previous self, destroy the previous building, kinda, and construct a new one, build a new one. And each lesson is like a floor of this building. And, each of these floors take lots of time, effort, energy to be built and made. I, I face a lot of challenges whenever I'm applying a new lesson in my life, and I struggle a lot. So I need to turn back to him and explain them to him and, kind of ask for help. And in our previous meeting, I didn't ask him to teach me a new lesson as I thought it's very early. And he confirmed that. And he said, I need a couple of weeks or even months to apply them completely in my life and feel confident about them. But instead, I shared my struggles that I've been facing, and he gave me, I mean, very decent and, appropriate advices uh, to kind of tackle those problems and overcome them. So let's get into it. The first topic that we discussed was health and physical activity. In our previous discussions, we actually talked about physical activity and health. If you remember, I said that I've been going to gym for the last 3 years. I've been doing weightlifting and fitness, for a long time, and sometimes kind of heavy. And he suggested me to, slow it a bit down and do it a bit lighter, let's say. And as I discussed, that I don't need excessive amounts of, sports in my life if my goal is not in that direction. He asked me about that. He asked me how I, changed things, how I am, dealing with sports in my life right now. I explained to him that I kind of decreased it. I made a decision on not going to gym for 5 to 7 times a week every day and spend lots of hours on it. And now I go to gym like for 3 or 4 days in a week. And I explained that, yeah, I'm kind of doing it lighter with lighter weights and, lighter sets and exercises. And I asked him, is there any problem? How do you kind of define health, physical health, and what is the healthiest kind of physical activity in your opinion? Here I'm gonna read exactly from his sentences as I note it down to not miss anything. Okay, he started, pretty straightforward. He said, health. By health, we just do not mean physical health, but actually we mean it's about mind and body working as one. For us, health looks like this: dedicating around an hour each day to some type of physical activity. It can be going to gym, it can be, taking a walk instead of like using your car, or public transportation to your work or school or anywhere, deciding to take a walk, longer walk, to you know keep your body healthy. That's perfect, as he said. It can be that, it can be going to gym, it can be home exercises. uh, it, it it can be anything, but our goal is to keep our body and mind active. Like, it should be in a way that we can breathe comfortably, so that air flows in our nose and in our lungs, and we it kind of refreshes our mind and lungs, and in a very effective way. He insisted on this part, that you need to really get enough oxygens, like you need to increase your heartbeat, and also mm, inhale more oxygen during that kind of physical activity. That is so important. I hope I could say and explain it well. Yeah, SAR says before we can conquer anything else, our physical state needs to be strong and reliable. Like 2 feet that are ready to walk for miles, climb mountains, and withstand lots of storms, let's say, in our new path. Because uh, yeah, physical activity actually can make us feel more confident. And if I do not build that foundation, then every challenge that I face in this way may knock me down easier and faster. Do you know what I mean? Like, he explained that when you feel you are able, you are active, you have some amount of muscle on your body, and you know when you can do those push-ups or pull-ups or those movements and feel powerful, that's so good, that's so necessary. That feeling of having momentum, and being able to push yourself harder in the times of negative moments, let's say, in the times of difficulty or failure. Yeah, he suggested me to do more, do some activities that are more natural, that we have done for thousands of years in nature. Like he said, don't do even powerlifting or weightlifting. Do more activities like calisthenics, that type of sport, because that is more natural, and that makes our body stretch more and become more flexible, and that is a lot more helpful. And he said, we're not making a bodybuilder kind of a physique. No, 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 we are making a kind of a fitness uh, physique. So that is what he insisted on. The next topic that we discussed was my interactions with people, you know how I socialize and how I treat people. Actually, it was about lesson two. He wanted me to explain how I dealt with lesson two. Lesson two, as you remember, was about eliminating any kind of outside distractions, eliminating, you know, any time that is spent on things that don't matter, things that do not contribute to our growth and our success. He asked me, okay, what happened? How did you treat people? What are your struggles? What were your challenges? Tell me about them. And I explained them in details. I said, yeah, as you told me, I went and cut a lot of unnecessary interactions. I didn't go to events. I, stopped attending to some events that I felt are not necessary. I didn't go to any parties. I turned down my friends and people's invitations. I stayed home on weekends and worked on my education and studies and tried to focus more. But other than that, yeah, I said I'm a student, I go to university, I'm always surrounded by hundreds of people and you know, we are young, we strike up conversations so fast in class, anywhere. It can be at work for even no reason. And I said I try to not start conversations myself, but I'm not repulsive when someone comes and talks to me. And I try to treat them nice, as you said. Yeah. And he said, okay, tell me more. What are the topics that you talk about with people around you? How do you listen to them? How long does your, conversation take typically? Tell me more details. I said, yeah, mm, I listen to people. I let them talk to me and explain their issues with me. I make them heard and understood. And I try to be a good person, good friend. And I sometimes give them advice as I'm on a self improvement journey on my own. I try to kind of, you know, let them see me as a, someone who can consult with. And that was when he kind of got so serious and this silence happened in our meeting. And I understood I kind of screwed in some shape or form from the way he looked at me and he talked. He was, talking to me. And yeah, this is what he said. Let me exactly read it so I don't miss anything. Let me add one thing. It's something I've always struggled with, thinking I can take on everyone's problems, while still dealing with my own problems. He told me, don't think about helping others when you're dealing with your own issues. Saul reminded me that this journey is about mastering my own mind, fixing my own flaws, before even thinking about helping others. The truth is, when you're full of issues, pretending to be a hero for someone else only leads to burnout and more emptiness. Yeah, that was catching. That hit me hard. Yeah, that hit me hard actually. And I asked for more, you know, detailed explanation. He said, I understand that you are on a self improvement journey and you are making some progress and you have lots of positive energies and you want to go out and help people and give those positive energies to them too, and but he said that's totally wrong. We don't have the right to spend our time on fixing people's issues when we are full of issues. He said you better spend your time focusing on yourself. Okay, don't, you know, be a repulsive person. Don't cut people's conversations. You know, okay, make them feel heard and understood for some minutes. Listen to them, maybe feel some empathy, but that's it. Then, cut the story short and make it make the story shorter and change the topic, and that's it. Go do your own business. Who are you to fix other people's issues, show them the right way when you're stuck yourself? Yeah. And I kind of could understand that, yeah, I better not to spend time on that. I better not to see myself as someone who can, just because I started this path, I can, you know, make other people grow. So that was the second thing that I learned from him. SAR had me visualize myself without any of those goals and without reaching any achievements in my future, and feeling the day that I quit this path, and when I get back to that previous stage, let's be real, like feeling again like a loser. He wanted to he wanted me to imagine that, to kind of feel the necessity of changing things in my life. He said, see that version of yourself, understand that if you don't put in the work, that's who you will be. From his lines, I can understand that he wants me to feel the urgency. um, he said, there will be failures in this path, there will be wrongdoings from you, and that happens. But the most important thing is to, whenever you fail, you need to get back on track, get back on the right track, actually, so quickly, learning from your mistake and moving forward without losing any sight of your vision. Mm, this in this part, he insisted on something that I want to break it down. He said, look, people think that just because we are human beings, it's totally okay to do wrong things from time to time. And he said, no, if you have this type of mindset, forget it. That is not right. It's not okay to do wrong things from time to time and repeat wrong things. He said, you may, end up with something wrong and you may fail. That's okay, but you need to learn from it and overcome it and not repeating it again. And he said, if you repeat wrong things again and again, that's when we have huge issues. That's when we may, you know, end our connection and this path will come to an end. He said, don't come up with excuses and, unnecessary convictions of, okay, we are human beings. That's totally okay to, you know, not perform well from time to time. No. He said we need to learn from our mistakes and move forward. That's it. I asked him, okay, how can I make sure if I'm on the right track? How can I make sure that I'm doing things right and not wrong? He told me that's so simple. If you want to truly understand that I'm satisfied from your performance and you actually are satisfied with yourself, and you kind of, if you want to make sure that you're making progress, every single day that you go to sleep, ask yourself, did I improve 1%, or at least just a little, you know even infinitesimally little, but that is even okay for us. Did I make progress? Am I better now? And in the mornings when you wake up, ask yourself again about yesterday and about today. Actually, he said, as I wrote here, sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes it's not as clear. But what matters is that I'm not going backwards. He said we may stay on our, position and the current, condition. It's okay from time to time. Some days it's like that, it's fine. But going backwards, that's an issue. That's a problem. There are days where progress feels small. That's totally fine. Because, backing down or regressing isn't an option. He wanted me to understand this. Every day that I wake up and make even a tiny step forward, I'm building momentum. And he wanted me to make sure of that every single day. As it's going forward and, as this path is going on, I'm feeling that our meetings and our conversations are getting more serious and the advices are getting tougher. You know, he wants me to commit in a way that doesn't waver in any wind, in any shape or form. That's at least what I felt. That's the message that I could get out of these talks so far. And these lessons and these things aren't about minor tweaks, I see this as a total overhaul, and he told me that he knows the path to real growth needs a extremely stronger mind and focus, a type of focus that you know most people cannot reach, most people cannot have. And he's preparing me, he's kind of slowly guiding me towards that place. So that's where I am now. The stakes are higher, I think, and my goals are clearer, I think. My commitment is deeper than ever. And, you know, SAR isn't there to, only take my hand. He's here to not only take my hand, but also push me towards the right path and direction and, make me accountable. And that is important. I see that as a gift, you know. He's kind of making this unshakable sense of purpose for me, and he's giving me the tools to pursue it in the most efficient way. That's something I always remind myself when things get tough, when I feel, pain sometimes, or when when it hurts in simplest terms. I always remind myself, like, don't forget this. This is like a gift that is given to you at this time, so understand what you have and its value. So thanks for sticking with me. It's not an easy road. It's not for sure the most popular path out there that people choose, but I'm curious about what happens, and I want to stay and hope for better things. By that being said, I will share with you our next talks and conversations as soon as we have them. So until next time, take care. Forward.